What's good, y'all? Y'all actually gonna get a third video today. Shout out to the LDPC, it's your boy Fight Critic, here to give you guys actually a reaction video to one of the homies, Town Bizznizz. I'm gonna put a link to the description to Town's video in this upload. But most of all, when I saw Town put this video up, I really hadn't really paid much attention to what was going on with a lot of what you would call UA distributors. Now, outside of that, I'm very well versed in how the UA market works. Much like with Town, I'm a little bit of a sneakerhead myself. I don't spend a lot of time trying to collect every pair of sneaker possible, but I do take a lot of time to look at sneakers that I like and try to build up my wardrobe. Look at, certain sneakers that I do like that I feel like across time they're going to be kind of like timeless pieces, so I like to grab them. And I tend to stay away from a lot of hyped up pieces unless it's something that I feel like I'm going to wear. I'm not somebody that subscribes too much to the resale market. I don't like buying sneakers on a resale price. I will do everything possible not to buy anything resale value. Just because the resale market is completely oversaturated. There's so many people that are just looking to make a quick buck, and at the same time, it's just a very exhausting and dirty game that costs a lot of money for you to upkeep. But my biggest issue with what's going on, especially now when you look at the fact that Nike is doing its best to stop, factories in China, which essentially have the ability to get their patents, get their designs, get the same materials that they get, and essentially create a shoe that they sell at a lesser retail value than what Nike would distribute it at, create the same contents, and then sell it for a lesser price, creating a smaller profit margin, but they have much larger of a customer base because Nike has made it virtually impossible for you to purchase a pair of sneakers. Like, it's not like the 90s and the early 2000s where you would just get up early on a Saturday and go to your local Foot Locker and stand in line and hope that you got a pair. Even back then, the real flex was to know somebody and you would still pay a pre-release price to get your sneaker. That's just not the case anymore. The case now is to acquire as much as possible for the sake of selling it. And for many people who are really big sneakerheads, it's created such a very toxic environment now because you got a lot of these kids who are extremely young, extremely bold, and they're using their parents' money, and they're spending $2,000-3,000 a month running automation bots in order to acquire quantity of sneakers. And that's just not fair to the everyday consumer who wants to do it. So some consumers have opted to go through distributors to get sneakers that they want to wear. Now, if you're somebody who's copping, an unofficial or an unauthenticated sneaker for the sake of selling it and making money, you're obviously a piece of shit. But for the people who are going about this just because they want to have the sneaker so that they can wear it and they can feel, like, damn, I really wanted this pair. And if the manufacturer is just different, but all the materials are the same, then they don't feel any sort of buyer's remorse in doing so. But my biggest issue is that Nike could have easily combated this by a couple different ways. The first way is to actually build your server and your infrastructure to handle people actually legitimately wanting to buy sneakers. And secondly, you could make more quantity. Nike's a billion-dollar company that can make more quantity in order to meet the needs of the supply. But no, they have created themselves in a position to where they refuse to do so. So for many people, they feel like the only way for them to get a sneaker is to keep like 3 computers open at the same time with 12 different browsers in order to get one pair of sneaker. I think for me, I have something like a 2% success rate on the sneakers app just trying to get some sneakers. I hardly ever really try anymore unless it's like a pair that I really like and I know that not a lot of people are going to go for it. Somehow I've been like 90% with Jordan 4s, which is crazy. But every other sneaker that I want, I usually have to hit up a homie over in Dover to see what's up with the stock so I could try to like slip through and pay a little bit extra. But for Nike to crack down on these factories rather than addressing the real problem, which is the bots that are eating up this quantity, it's just really cheap, and at the same time, it's not fair. But I'm going to leave a link to Town's video where he goes a little bit more in depth on it. Make sure you follow his channel. Make sure you like and leave a comment underneath the video as well.